I always thought I kept a tidy home. Until the day I visited Japan. There was something different. Not just cleaner floors or spotless counters, but a calm, a peace, a sense that every object had purpose, and every corner respect. So I started asking questions. And what I discovered changed the way I live forever. In fact, over 90% of Japanese households use microfiber cloths daily. And nearly every home practices some version of daily tidying. Because the truth is, the Japanese don't just clean their homes, they care for them. Because the truth is, the Japanese don't just clean their homes, they care for them. And today, I'm going to show you 25 simple secrets they've mastered to help you create a home that feels not just cleaner, but lighter, calmer, and more alive. I have been cleaning my home the wrong way all my life. For years, I believe I was doing everything right. Weekly vacuuming, scrubbing counters, organizing closets every spring. It felt good enough. But deep down, there was always a quiet frustration. I'd spend hours cleaning, only feel like I was always chasing clutter. The house looked clean, but somehow it never felt clean. And then everything changed on a trip I almost didn't take. I had flown to Tokyo to visit my daughter, who was teaching English abroad. Her apartment was small, barely half the size of my living room back home. Yet when I walked in, I froze. It was spotless, yes, but it was something else. There was no visible cleaning, no smell of bleach, no clutter shoved into corners. Just an overwhelming sense of peace, like the space itself was breathing easier. That night, I asked her, "How do you keep it this clean with so little effort?" She smiled. "Mom," she said, "in Japan, we don't just clean. We respect the space we live in." That moment hit me harder than any lecture or cleaning tip ever had. Because suddenly, I saw my own home through a different lens.
We don't just
It wasn't
clean.
that I lacked effort.
We
It's that I'd been
respect
using the
the
wrong
space.
approach all along. The Japanese don't just clean, they care for their space. In the West, cleaning often feels like a chore. Something you do when things get messy. A task to check off the list. Then forget. But in Japan, it's different. Cleaning isn't just maintenance. It's mindfulness. Every sweep of the broom, every folded towel, is a quiet ritual of respect. Not just for the house, but for the life you're building inside it. There's even a word for it. Osoji, the big clean. A tradition that happens at the end of each year, where families come together not just to remove dust, but to let go of the past. It's less about perfection and more about presence. I saw it firsthand. A woman wiping down the entryway of her home each morning, not because it was dirty, but because she believed in greeting the day with grace. A shop owner scrubbing the sidewalk in front of the store, not because someone told him to, but because he wanted to welcome his customers with dignity. That's when I realized I hadn't just been missing techniques. I'd been missing the heart of it all. Cleaning to the Japanese isn't about appearance. It's about alignment between you and your environment. And once I started shifting my mindset,
Staring at
everything
the
about
pile,
the way
the
I
reality
cleaned
of my
began to
situation
change.
finally hit me.
No place for dust.
I was
The art of
completely
minimalism
overwhelmed.
and layout. Before Japan, I thought I had a pretty simple home. A few decorations, a clean kitchen, organized closets. But in Tokyo, I saw what real simplicity looks like. And more importantly, what it feels like. There were no junk drawers. No random knickknacks gathering dust on shelves. No furniture just for the sake of filling space. Everything had a place. And more powerfully, there were spaces with nothing at all. That's when I learned. Dust doesn't hide where it has nowhere to settle. In Japanese homes, minimalism isn't a trend. It's a lifestyle choice built on centuries of tradition. From Zen Buddhism to the design of shoji screens and sliding doors. And it's not about having nothing. It's about having less, so you can care more. Less furniture means more light. Less clutter means fewer places for mess to build up. And sliding doors? They don't swing out, don't block walkways, don't collect fingerprints. They simply glide. Even storage is different. vertical, hidden, intentional. Instead of buying bins to fit more stuff, Japanese homes are designed to own less from the start. It made me ask myself, how much of my cleaning is just
It just
rearranging
fills the
clutter
space.
I don't even need?
I suppose I've never really looked at it before.
The first step to a cleaner home is letting go. Small habits, big change, the hidden power of routine. In my old routine, cleaning came in waves. A messy kitchen meant a deep cleaning. Dust on the shelves, time to panic on Sunday afternoon. And every time I started from zero. But in Japan, I saw something different. People didn't clean more. They cleaned smarter. The secret? They don't wait for mess to grow. They gently chip away at it. Before it builds, I watched the neighbor prepare breakfast. And before the eggs even finished cooking, she'd already wiped the counter, rinsed the pan, put ingredients away. No mess left behind. No, I'll deal with it later. This mindset even extends to laundry. Towels are rinsed in hot water after each use. Shoes are lined neatly by the door, never wandering through the house. Sinks are wiped down the moment they're used. Trash is sorted daily, not dumped into one overflowing bin. It's not perfection, it's prevention. And over time, these tiny acts of care become effortless, like brushing your teeth. You don't think, today, I'm going to deep clean the bathroom. You just wipe the mirror when you see a spot. Shake out the bath mat before bed. Fold your towel instead of tossing it on a chair. It's what the Japanese call kaizen. Small, continuous improvement. And the best part? You don't need to change your whole life. Just start with one habit and let the ripple begin. And I'm not the only one. After I shared these habits with my neighbor Linda, she gave it a try. 2 weeks later, she told me, my house hasn't just been cleaner, it's been calmer. That's when I knew this isn't just a method.
So I started waking up
it's
at
a
5
mindset
a.m.
that
every
spreads.
day, and it's completely
The tools
changed my
matter.
routine.
Oh
And
wow,
the
I've been
Japanese
trying
keep
that
it
too,
simple.
but I usually only
Here's
make
something
it to
that
6.
surprised me. For a culture known for precision and innovation, Japanese homes don't have rows of cleaning gadgets. There's no army of plastic spray bottles, no gimmicky brushes, no 12-step kits promising spotless results. Instead, I found a handful of simple, high-quality tools, used over and over again, with care. A soft microfiber cloth, perfectly folded, used for mirrors, windows, and delicate surfaces, not just for shine, but to protect. A compact scrubbing brush that fits in your palm, ideal for grouts, corners, stovetops. No elbow breaking pressure, just the right tool for the job. And then the classics: vinegar, baking soda, salt, natural, affordable, safe. Not only are they gentle on your lungs and the planet, they actually
I thought
work.
these would simplify
I
things.
once watched a friend clean her
But
cast
staring
iron
at them
pan
now,
with
I
nothing but
wonder if
coarse
they were
salt
ever
and a
useful
paper
at
towel.
all.
No soap, no scrubbing, no rust. Just tradition passed down, and still better than store-bought sprays. It made me realize we often spend more time buying tools than using them. The Japanese philosophy is simple. Don't fight dirt with force. Outsmart it with simplicity. A damp cloth catches dust better than a dry one. A toothbrush reaches where no sponge can. And a few drops of essential oil in your vacuum filter turns cleaning into aromatherapy. Minimal tools, maximum intention. Maybe the secret to cleaning better starts with owning less and choosing better. Cleaning without touching. The Japanese art of gentle, deep cleaning. Back home, I used to think cleaning meant scrubbing. The harder you rub, the cleaner it got, right? But in Japan, I learned a quiet lesson. Sometimes, the gentlest touch cleans the deepest. Take the bathroom, for instance, instead of bleach or harsh sprays. Many Japanese homes use steam, not from fancy machines, just hot water, heat, and intention. Steam lifts soap scum from tiles, loosens grime from shower heads, and sanitizes surfaces without a single drop of chemical. It's effortless. It's safe. It's surprisingly powerful. Then there's the air compressor trick. A short burst of air into the vents of your TV, your keyboard, or your windowsill. No wiping. No pushing dust deeper. Just clean, pressurized release. And let's not forget the damn cloth method. A dry rag only moves dust around. But add a little moisture, and you trap the dust instead of chasing it. I even saw someone clean the rice cooker. With itself, they added vinegar and water, hit cook, and let the steam clean the pot from the inside out. It was like the home was cleaning itself. And that's the beauty of the Japanese method. It's not about using more force. It's about using less resistance, less scrubbing, less damage, less effort, but somehow a deeper kind of clean. The kitchen that cleans itself one habit at a time. If there's one room in a house that never stays clean, it's the kitchen. Grease on the stove, crumbs on the counter, splatters in the microwave. And no matter how often I cleaned, it always felt like I was starting from scratch. But in Japan, I saw something magical. The kitchen seemed to clean itself, not because it had smart tech or high-end gadgets, but because the people using it treated it differently. There was one habit I'll never forget. After cooking, a friend grabbed a pinch of coarse salt and scrubbed her cast iron pan. No soap, no soaking, just salt, a cloth, and care. Another day, I watched someone pour a bit of vinegar into the rice cooker. Hit cook, and let the steam do the work. No scrubbing, no struggle. Even in the fridge, no mystery stains or forgotten leftovers. Why? Because she cleaned as she stored, not just when things got gross. It wasn't about one big cleaning day. It was about little rituals, repeated daily. Like rinsing the sink after every dish, wiping the counter while the tea steeps, or folding a dish towel neatly, instead of tossing it over the oven handle. It all added up to a space that never had time to get messy. And the most beautiful part? These habits didn't feel like chores. They felt like gratitude. Because in Japan, the kitchen isn't just where food is made. It's where the home is nourished. And when you treat it with care, it gives that care back. In calm, in cleanliness, in comfort. Trash with purpose. Cleanliness as a social value. Back home, taking out the trash was just that. A quick run to the bin. Lid down. Done. But in Japan, trash is a social contract. The first time I stayed in a Japanese neighborhood, I was handed accounts, not of events, but of trash days. Burnables on Tuesday, non-burnables on Friday, plastics, cans, bottles. Each had their own day, their own bag, their own rules. And they weren't suggestions. If you put out the wrong item on the wrong day,
there's no way
your neighbors notice. Not to shame you, but because your mistake affected everyone. At first, I thought it was excessive. But then, I noticed something. The streets were spotless. The air smelled fresh, even near dumpsters. And the people, they walked with pride. Because their space was everyone's space. Cleanliness wasn't about my home.
I am so happy with how organized the garage is now.
It was about how my actions
We have
rippled
dedicated
outward.
bins for paper,
Sorting trash made me
plastic,
more
and
aware
glass.
of what I consumed. Using less plastic. Thinking twice before throwing something away. Because in Japan, there is no away. There's only where it goes and how it affects the next person. And something else changed, too. I stopped letting trash pile up. I created clear bins, labeled with intention. I rinsed containers. I folded recyclables. And in that process, I felt lighter, less wasteful, more connected. Because the truth is, when we treat our waste with care, we treat our lives with care. Your home, your sanctuary, clean space, calm mind. One morning in Kyoto, I stepped into a traditional inn, what they call ryokan. There were no paintings on the walls, no furniture lining the halls, just soft light, open space, the scent of fresh tatami mats, and silence. It wasn't empty.
I have so much to do.
It was intentional.
The rent is due.
That's
the
when I
client is calling
understood.
again. Did I remember
A clean
to send that
space
email?
isn't just easier
It just
to live
never
in.
stops.
It's easier to
A
feel
simple,
in.
content
Back home,
moment.
I started paying
Folding
attention.
this towel is
When
a
the kitchen
small
was
act
clear,
of self-care.
I didn't just
bringing
cook better.
warmth and order.
I breathed better. When the bedroom was calm, I didn't just sleep deeper. I worried less. The clutter wasn't just physical.
Finding
It was
joy in the
emotional.
simple acts,
It was
like
mental.
wiping down this beautiful
And the more
wood.
I cleared it,
It's a
the
moment
more
of
peace I
quiet focus
uncovered
in
bit
the
by
afternoon
bit.
light.
Because here's the truth no one tells us. Your home is not a storage
And
unit.
cleaning.
It's a
because it
sanctuary.
feels good.
And when you treat it that way, you begin to live differently. Slower, softer, more present. You find joy in small acts. Folding a towel neatly, opening a window, wiping a table with care. You stop cleaning because you have to. You clean because it feels good. Because a tidy space doesn't just look better. It holds you better. And in a world full of noise, that kind of quiet is everything. Start today and let your home take care of you. Maybe you watched all this and thought, that sounds lovely, but where do I even start? You start small. One closet, one drawer, one quiet, mindful moment of care. You wipe the counter, not to check a box, but to say, this space matters. I matter because cleaning the Japanese way isn't about doing more. It's about doing less, but with love. And over time, that love builds something stronger than order. It builds a relationship between you and the space you live in. So today, pick one habit. Swap a spray for vinegar. Rinse your towel. Open a window and let the light in. And let your home slowly begin to care for you. 2, because a calm space leads to a calm mind. And at any age, peace is always worth coming home to.
Linda and
If
I
even one
always
of these
find
Japanese
time to
secrets
just share
spoke
the
to
calm.
you today, share it with a friend. Let them feel this calm. 2, and if you're ready for more, subscribe Sliver Age Wellness. We got a lot more peace to make, one habit at a time.